Hello, good evening, everybody. So today I will go over the process of bushing, but first let me give just a disclaimer. I'm not a professional clock repairer. Clock repairing is only my hobby, so take my advice as a limited one. I'm not an expert, but I would like to propose a new way or some method that I was thinking about how to find the center of the original hole of the bushing and go over the process. So what we have today is this one came from I think a Jausch clock. It's a German movement, PL12 something. Here there are a few holes that I already did bushing, and now we will you see here a few places that I already installed the new bushings. Now we will go over the flow and we will rebush this hole. So this one is the pivot that came from this hole, and first of all I will demonstrate the wear of the hole. So if you can just zoom in with the camera, so it will be possible to see the wear of the hole. You see I'm moving it from side to side. I'm not sure one can see this wear, since this pivot is 0.75 or 0.76. You can zoom in, please. This pivot is a 0.75 diameter, so it's pretty difficult to identify the wear inside. Anyhow, when I had this mechanism installed, I examined the direction of the wear, and I mark it with the black sign here. So that means that the original hole was at that side and the wear came from this side. So the original center should be somewhere in this area of the hole. And what I will propose here is a way how to find the center. What I'm doing now is I will put it. I do not have the dedicated tool to install the bushing. There are tools from KWM and from Brejon. I don't have any of them, so I will use this press drill gently to make the bushing. So first of all, instead of using, there is a center tool, special center tool, which with the shape of arrow that help to find the original center, but I think it's not the best way how to find the center. So what I suggest and what I propose as a method to find the center is to use the very specific gear that is in place, in the original place. Put it in my drill. Okay, and now actually I have the original pivot and go down with my press drill, and now I'm just going into the hole of the plate. Now I will move the plate counter to the direction of what I marked earlier. If this is the direction of the weir, then I will push the plate while the pivot is inside. I will push it to this direction. Okay, now I just over pushed it just to demonstrate the direction, but what will going to happen is that once the pivot is inside the hole, I will push the plate into this direction to make sure that I am now close to the original place where it was. So again, let's get down with my press drill. Okay, now I'm inside the hole and I will push it a little. You cannot probably notice this very little movement of the plate inside, but there is some movement of the plate due to the weir. So I'm just pushing it to the direction of the black sign that I did. So this will be the direction. Now I can see that the pivot can still go inside the hole, and this is the time where I can clamp the plate to the base so it will not move and will not lose the center. Okay, so I will put the clamps. I will put 2 clamps. I know that this is some kind of improvised tool, but still I think it can do the job good enough. Okay, I'm tightening the clamps now, and I will check now again that the pivot can go directly into the hole, and at this time I will replace. Now it's the time to replace the gear that I just use as my center finder, and I will use a 1.5 millimeter drill to make a real and circle hole in the plate, and in the last stage I will use the dedicated reamer that will make the hole for the bushings. So before I'm doing it, I will just show. So we are using, camera here please, I'm using the L12 bushings, and the system is KWM. So this bushing, the external diameter is 1.82 and the hole is 0.8. The internal hole is 0.8, which will fit to my 0.75 pivot, and the height is, I think, 1.4 millimeter. Okay, the height is 1.4 millimeter. Since the thickness of my plate is 1.5, so I'm using 1.4 here. So once again, the internal is 0.8 to fit the 0.75 of my gear, of my pivot, and the external is 1.82, and this is the hole that I will drill now. So first I'm using 1.5 drill bit, and then I will use the number 2 KWM, reamer to make the exact hole for the bushings. Okay, so let's have a short drill here. Okay. I'm going slowly, trying to do it as slow as possible. second. I had to tighten it and I didn't do it. So this is why it was halt at the middle of the work. Okay. Okay. Now we are done with the I would call it a guide hole, since now we have a round hole that the reamer can walk smoothly. I know that I saw that there are people that will do the bushing directly with the reamer. I think it's not a good practice, since if you don't have a round hole, then the reamer might go and do a bad and not round hole for the pivot, for the bushings. So now I'm replacing the drill, and I will do the real hole for the bushing. And this is of course done when it's doing manually, since this press drill is going too fast for the reamer. So I will remove the belt from it. And this one should be done manually and very slowly. So I'm now revolving the drill and going slow, very slow down, so it will do its job nice and clean. Moving left and right, and you see that the reamer is now cutting the right hole. I know that there are people who is doing it using the electrical power of the machine. I think it's too fast, so this is why I'm doing it manually. Okay, now we are done. And actually we can now install the new bushings. So installing the new bushing, I think it's some standard procedure where you have to press the new bushing into its place. So I will do it here. I will just use some wider drill, just to remove some residue over the hole here, very gently. So now we have a smooth surface here. Okay, and now we have to pick up one of the bushings. Okay, and we have to take care about the direction, since the one direction is the oil sink. This is the place where the oil should be. So this direction, can you see it in the camera? So this direction have to be to the outer side of the plate. So I will just put it here and just give it the initial placement, and then I will take this punch tool and